With the new year well underway, many of us are excited about what the future has to hold. Maybe you're thinking about your career choices, maybe you want to finally learn to do that cool hobby, run that race, write that book, get over your fear of public speaking. Perhaps you want to do all of those things and more, and now it's time to turn those dreams into your New Year's resolutions. Welcome to the Chrissy Show, the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. And today we are going to be talking about the importance of goals and resolutions. Discussing the psychological ins and outs is our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang. And educating us on the importance of goal setting for our children is family coach Sharon Lawton. Nutritionist Hannah Richards gives us a great healthy recipe to help you stick to your food-related resolutions this new year. Financial expert Priti Shah gives us some much-needed advice on how to be more frugal this year. We also show you how we got on when we did the Mental Health Dance Challenge at St Andrew's Church of England Primary School. And for those of you who don't know what this is all about, I will be explaining a bit later on. And at the end of the show, I'm going to be revealing to you my biggest failure when it comes to New Year's resolutions. Now, New Year's resolutions are anything but new, and oftentimes they're not actually achieved. According to Psychology Today, less than 10% of them are actually achieved by the end of the year, with goals being dropped primarily because their objectives are just too general, like losing weight or being happier. But making goals and resolutions aren't all negative. As an article from the Happy Manager states, simply striving to be more goal-orientated provides opportunities for being more productive, time efficient, and even allows for a more stable peace of mind. So with that, what about your resolutions for the coming year? We went to Twitter to find out. Rose says, Austin and I are being basic, but our New Year's resolution is to lose weight together and actually stick to it. I give it 4 days. Well, I hope it lasts longer than that. Melissa has her priorities in order, saying, New Year's resolution, I finally got it. I got to stop saying sorry, and it's okay when I don't really mean it. And Riley says, New Year's resolution, stop telling people I'm on my way when I'm not actually on my way. Naughty, naughty. So what does our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, have to say on the matter? Let's go and find out. Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Thanks for having me, Chrissy.
So why are resolutions and goals so important for our mental health?
Well, the act of achieving a goal releases a little bit of a hit of dopamine. So that's the first thing. It already physiologically makes us feel better. So if you do want that little happiness perk, set a goal and achieve it, and that's great. But the actual act of saying to yourself, I'm going to do this, I've made a decision to do something, is really quite empowering, and you feel good anyway. So that boosts your mental health regardless. Goals also make us accountable. So we do end up taking responsibility a lot more, but then when we achieve it, we also know that, well, that's my achievement. I've done that. So it does a lot for our self-esteem as well. So that's really wonderful too. They can make us more motivated in that if it's, say, a long-term goal, and of course it's quite difficult to keep going and keep going, but when you can sit there and say, well, if I just get over this little hurdle, then the end is in sight. It actually keeps us going, and it keeps us going past procrastination as well. So there's a lot of benefits for setting goals and hopefully achieving them. But actually the secret there is to set the goals appropriately.
Not to be unrealistic or...
Well, this is it. Most people set them using the SMART technique, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely. So for example, instead of saying I'm just going to lose weight, that's not particularly specific. But if you say I'm going to lose 2 pounds by the end of 2 weeks, which nutritionists will say that's possible to do, but then you also have to make it realistic. For example, if you're going out with clients and eating meals the whole time, it may not be so realistic. So it's about remembering that as long as you can measure your goal and there's a time to check back and say, have I achieved it, haven't I? And you can actually see whether you have achieved it, then that's one of the best ways of setting a goal. And the other thing is actually not confusing a goal with a state. Too many of us sit there and say, oh, I'll be happy as soon as I achieve whatever it is I want to achieve. Actually, you can be happy whenever you feel like. it, you can smile, you can do something that makes you feel good. You don't need to rest your whole being on that goal, and so that's quite important too.
Yeah, that's very important. Would you say, are there any disadvantages of setting goals and having resolutions?
There can be. Sometimes we get so caught up in the goal itself. For example, businesses will say that they want to hit target after target, that sometimes the quality can diminish, so we need to be very careful. Yeah. We also need to be careful that we're not changing the love, our intrinsic love for something, just to get rewards. So just as an example, there's a little girl that I know, and she's been going to the gym recently and getting badges for it, which is great, except now she does things to get badges rather than enjoying the dancing and the jumping and all of the things she was enjoying for the sake of it. So we've got to be quite careful that we're not putting everything into the extrinsic reward. We also need to make sure that the goals are compatible with our priorities. So, for example, it may be wonderful to go and travel around the world and backpack and all of that, but if you've got a young family, that may not be an appropriate goal for that particular moment. So don't forget that our priorities were once goals, and we do need to commit to those too. So there can be some pros and cons. Another thing that we need to look at is when you've set a SMART goal and you've achieved it, and that's great, we also need to remember to set the next goal based on where we've come to. A lot of people, when they've lost lots of weight, they won't throw away their old clothes, and we've got to remember that we've only spent a few moments in this new you, but a lifetime in the old us. And the reason why we yo-yo quite so much is because we haven't actually allowed that new habit, that new achievement to manifest and take shape properly. And so what happens is, because we waver and then we spent so long habitually maybe overeating or whatever it might be, we slip back into our old patterns. So we've got to set our new goal based on where we've come to.
Okay. And then you can continue setting new ones.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brilliant. So it's always about achieving your goal and then adapting to it and moving forward from that point.
Brilliant. Audrey, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again very soon.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, everybody, so now it's also time to talk to the lovely Sharon Lawton on setting goals for children. Welcome to the show, Sharon.
Hi, Chris.
So, goal setting for kids, why is it important for children to have goals?
Well, I would say it's important for all of us, but particularly for our children. Because if we know where we're going in life, it's really important for us to have that for good mental health and well-being, and also for our happiness as well. So setting goals gives us direction, it gives us something to aim for. That sort of helps us to look forward to the future. But the other thing where children are concerned is learning to set goals is a real life skill. So teaching them how to set goals, you're not just giving them a fantastic life skill which they'll have for all of their lives, but within that you're also developing all of the other really important skills that they're going to need to. So things like problem solving, resilience, also around confidence, independence, empowerment, all of those things come together in teaching goal setting, and they are all the skills that we need for us to reach our full potential in life.
How soon should you start though? Because, I don't know, could it be like too much pressure if the child is too young, would you say?
I think that's a really interesting question. I think even without realising it, we're setting goals for children right pretty much from when they're born. But we do it sort of like implicitly sort of as parents. So we encourage them to meet their milestones. So we sort of mentally set a goal to get them to walk or to crawl, or when they're babies to reach out for things. So that's sort of goal setting right from early on. But if we're going to start making it a bit more explicit and sort of calling them goals and sitting down with children and talking about setting goals, then I would say small achievable goals, make it something that's fun, maybe first of all a fun goal, something that is going to inspire them, and when they've achieved it, feel that feeling of success and excitement of having achieved something. So never too early, really.
And in terms of like older children then, what's the best way to help them to set goals that they can actually achieve as well?
Okay, so I would say first of all it needs to be balanced. So what I mean by having a set of balanced goals is not just looking at academic achievement, because that might be that they're setting goals to please us rather than goals that they want to achieve. But it is important to make sure that the goals are balanced around a whole range of areas. So around friendship, around well-being, around healthy eating, around sports, sort of fitness, healthy living basically. So a whole sort of range of areas is important, and that sort of gives balance. You mentioned positive goals, and that's important. So making sure that goals are positive. And when you're sitting down with older children, getting them to think about what it is that they want to achieve. Now, that's really important because our brain is an amazing thing. But what it does is it focuses on the things that we think about the most. So when it comes to goal setting, let me give you a little example. So if I said to you, don't think of a pink kangaroo. What are you thinking about?
Kangaroo.
Pink kangaroo. Chances are your viewers are doing the same thing. And that's because what happens is our brain's really obedient. So it focuses on what we don't want, and so it attracts it into our lives. So if we connect that to goal setting, what that means is if a young person sets a goal around, I don't want to fail my exams, or I don't want to be sad, what the brain's focusing on is fail exams, be sad. So goals need to be set in the positive. So if we think about the exam thing, it might be I want to succeed in my exams, and therefore I'm going to commit to 20 minutes extra studying every day. That would be sort of a positive sort of frame around the goal. Now we know that the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is about goal setting. So the most successful people in life are 4%, and they're the ones that really sit down, set themselves goals and write them. So as I said before, great goal setting and great skills for the future.
Just one last question that I'd like to ask you, Sharon. In terms of actually sitting down and putting the goals together in the first place, do you think kids should be just left alone to do that themselves, or is it something that you would recommend parents do with the child in the first place?
I think that's a really good question. I think, in my opinion, that it would depend obviously on the age. We also need to ensure, as I said before, about it being achievable and realistic. And so saying, okay, I want to play football for Chelsea might not be realistic, but they can set goals around improving their football skills to maybe move them forward. So I think it's about within sort of guidance, and it's about the parent being a coach themselves.
But not taking over, obviously, as well.
Exactly, because I think the danger is that then as parents, children set goals to please us rather than goals that are actually going to motivate them to be successful.
Sharon, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again very soon.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Right, everybody, don't go away, because after the break, we've got financial expert Priti Shah on hand to help you set your money goals in order. But first, what do these New Year's resolutions, losing weight, quitting smoking and eating healthier, have in common? Do you think you know the answer? Well, find out if you're right after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, your TV program for all things related to mental health and well-being. Now, before the break, we asked you, what do these New Year's resolutions, losing weight, quitting smoking and eating healthier, have in common? Well, the answer, according to Time magazine, they are the top 3 resolutions that people break. Now, some aren't too good with money, but if being more financially savvy is one of your resolutions this year, take a seat, because we've got resident finance advisor Priti Shah on hand to give you some excellent advice on being money smart. Welcome back to the show, Priti.
Great to be back.
It's lovely to have you on, because especially sort of this time of year when, Christmas has gone, but people are still feeling the effects financially of the festive period.
Quite often that is the credit card bill landing on your doormat, and you're looking at it thinking, uh-oh, what happened here?
Now, in an ideal world, careful budgeting would have taken place before the Christmas period. But for the benefit of the viewers that maybe didn't quite get round to doing a budget, or not maybe sticking to a budget, what first things would you maybe advise to do in January and the beginning of the year in February and so on?
Okay, so first of all, don't ignore the situation. Make sure that you look at your credit card bill, think about what you're going to be doing to try and get that paid off. And the best thing to try and do is to see if you can find a 0% credit card to move the balance onto, so you're not paying any interest.
Okay.
And maybe for 18 months you can pay the debt down interest-free.
Okay.
But obviously you kind of want to have more long-term goals around your money than just that kind of thing. So money's quite interesting. It's two sides of the same coin, because if you think about it, one part is earning the money, so income, and the other part is expenses. And we tend to focus on, you know, how do I cut back my expenditure? How do I save? All these kinds of things. And it's all focused on the expenses. But maybe make 2018 looking at your income side of the coin.
Okay.
So here's a few thoughts on that. How do you generate more money? Because actually, if you had more money to spend, that would also make it a bit easier to budget and plan, etc. So first of all is the mindset. Make sure you're starting to think about your income and how to increase that income, what you can do about that income.
Okay.
Next thing is look at the job that you do and think about, okay, what kind of training can I do? How can I upskill myself? And therefore either demand a pay rise where I'm at or look for an alternative place of employment. If you just ask for a pay rise without offering your employer something extra, they're unlikely to want to give it. But there's no reason not to ask. But if you offer them this opportunity to upskill you, better train you, or you go and do it yourself, then you come back to your employer and say, actually, I am worth more money to you now.
Good idea.
So that's one side of the income. The other side of the income, a lot of people look at passive income sources. So whether that's getting some kind of secondary job. I'd say that they are exciting opportunities, but you have to be careful because it takes a lot of time to build that up. And you really got to look at where you're going to spend your time. My view is looking at qualifications and seeing if you can upskill yourself is a quicker, more surefire way of earning greater income. And definitely look at the employment market. You may not actually know what your real worth is. So if you look at websites where they're advertising jobs and look at the job that you're doing, you may actually find that you're being underpaid, and you can bring it to the attention of your employer. So definitely look in 2018 at your own money mindset, your own idea of your own self-worth in terms of money, and look at whether to upskill, get a pay rise, move job, consider actually increasing your income.
I was going to say as well, because sometimes, you know, people that maybe do try and find a second job, but that can obviously be risky, because then where's the family time? Where's time for yourself? Because if you're working all the time, where's the joy in life? Right?
Exactly.
You need to find something that, like you're saying, somehow get more income without adding loads of extra hours on top of
and that's why
doing.
I'm kind of thinking that the qualification route or the gaining greater skills, being able to offer more to the one employment source is far better than perhaps looking at all these different passive income sources, because actually it's quite difficult to really generate a decent amount of revenue from them. So I would agree with you that you need to look at something that isn't going to take up so much time, but still going to result in greater income. The other side of the coin does have to be looked at, the expenses. And one of the things is people make the typical normal mistakes with their expenses. And the classic one is continuing to pay standing orders that you have no clue what they're for. So in January, here's an opportunity. It's the beginning of the year. Take out your bank statement for the last 2 months and just go through it and see what standing orders do I regularly pay. And circle the ones that you don't know what they are. Give them a call, find out what it is, and look at whether you still need that service or not. And actually, even, I'm a big believer in the phone, okay? Put reminders in your phone. So 6 months down the line, put a reminder into your calendar on your phone to bleep at you to say, review bank statement. Okay? And do the same exercise again 6 months down the line. The other one that we all, I think, are tending to do more and more and more, we're shopping online. And it's very easy to be sitting there watching telly, not watching telly, looking at your tablet, going through some websites.
Buy now.
Click. And the worst one with the buy now is once you bought it, you'll often get a voucher saying, buy something else and we'll give you an extra 10% off. Very dangerous. Yeah, very dangerous. Because the thing is, you haven't thought about whether you actually need that item. So one of the things I've got into the habit in 2017, I got into the habit of doing a bit of an audit. So every couple of months, I would go through my wardrobe and just rearrange everything. But what it meant was that it was fresh in my mind, all the things that I have got.
Yeah.
So then when I go shopping, think, oh no, but I've got that, I don't need it. Started to do it with my makeup too.
Yes.
So I rearrange it all and see what I've got, and I think actually don't need it anymore. The one thing that I haven't quite got to is looking through my passport and thinking, oh no, I don't need that holiday anymore. So that one I haven't conquered. But certainly things like the typical everyday things that we can spend on quite easily and quickly, we tend to do that too quickly. And it's the same thing with, food shopping. If you don't go with a list, you may well buy things that then you put in the fridge, and after a week or two, you're going to chuck it in the bin. And it's horrible wastage. You don't need to do it.
What I normally do with my shopping, because I shop online, but I always do a quick inventory before I actually order. So, okay, I don't need that. And I make like you say, I do make a list, but I check what I already have.
Yeah.
And if there's like an alternative, say I've got like bulgur and quinoa, I won't buy another one, like another something different, because I've already got two types already. So I'll just, that really helps. It really
that's really good. So I think for 2018, it'd be quite interesting for people to look at both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Definitely to look at the income side, look at the expenses side, not get into paying for things just out of habit, because we're all guilty of it, and actually start doing what I call like internal audits. So the food cupboard audit, the wardrobe audit, the makeup audit, the shoes audit. Because all of these things will really, really help. And it actually makes you feel good because you'll see everything that you have got. Because one of the things I think people find is they find it boring thinking about, oh, I have to look after my money. It just seems boring that I have to save. Well, change that mindset. Look at everything you've got and be grateful for what you have got. And then actually also realise, well, now I don't need to spend any money on that because I've got it. I think the other thing people can also look at doing is that there's a lot of free stuff around that you can do. So it's about being aware of it and having to hand a bit of a handy list of free stuff to do. So let's see, if you've got a family with children, make a list of the local parks. Make a list of places you haven't been to in London. There's lots of places that are free, like the South Bank, and you can take a stroll along there. You keep £20 in your purse and say, right, that's what we can spend when we go there. But all these things actually then mean that you've got lots of fun activities that you can do without actually having to think, oh crikey, I've got to do something with the kids today, fine, all right, we'll go to the cinema, and before you know it...
Spent loads, haven't you?
Spent loads, and it wasn't even a movie anyone was interested in watching.
Exactly.
And you could have done a cinema night at home.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. I mean, so many little things that you can actually do, and I actually find it can be kind of like a challenge to do all these things, rather than seeing it like you're saying, oh, I've got to do this, I've got a budget. But if you kind of set yourself little challenges and even bring the children into it, like you said, you've got that £20. All right, kids, let's see, what we're not going to go over this. And get them actually giving some input about what to spend the money on and where to go to eat, and just get them involved as well, teach them from a young age.
Absolutely, yeah. We did a really funny one with my niece and nephew. We'd gone shopping, they were only 6 at the time, so they didn't really know too much, but obviously any shop you go into, they want to buy it. So I said, if you can find something which is got the numbers 2, 4 and 3 in the price, then we can buy it. I mean, the likelihood of that is pretty much zero. But it was fun because they could look a lot. There wasn't anything they could buy, and then you can get them a little treat, whatever it might be, a bit of fruit or a sweetie or whatever. But you know what? They had fun doing it.
That's it. And it sort of teaches them about money, so it's isn't it?
It's just being a little bit tactical, a little bit clever, but quite fun.
Good, brilliant. Priti, thank you so much, and we shall see you again very soon for some more money advice.
Yes, love to be back.
Thank you. Now don't go away, because after the break we have resident nutritionist Hannah Richards giving us a yummy, healthy recipe that's sure to help you keep that healthy eating resolution of yours, as well as answering your nutritional questions, including this one. What's the best breakfast to have to beat a hangover? I always have a greasy fry up, but I really don't think that's any better for my body than the alcohol. Found out the answer, what Hannah has to say on this after the break. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, your program that loves to look after your mental health and well-being. So now we have the lovely nutritionist Hannah Richards with us to help us get back on track with our healthy eating regime. Hello, Hannah.
Hi, Chrissy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Overdid it a little bit over Christmas.
Oh, did you?
Just a little bit.
What, on the pigs in blankets or the mince pies?
No, I don't really like mince pies. Just
Okay.
food in general.
Just generally food.
Yes. So we need some advice. So we're mid-January now.
Yeah.
Some people might have set some goals right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And kind of not really sticking to them anymore. So what help and advice would you offer?
Well, as you can see, the table is sort of kitted out with the vegetables and foods that are going to sort of drain our systems from all the stodge and alcohol that we've been pouring in. I think that, you know, it's now the time to sort of really set your goals, really think about what you want for the year coming up, and your food can really help you do that. So hopefully that's what we're going to do today.
All right. So what are you going to be making for us then?
So we're going to be making a red cabbage salad. It doesn't sound that exciting, but I promise you it will. Now, also, we're all a bit skint after Christmas as well, and lots of recipes in books have these spiralizers. But I'm going to show you how you can just dig to the bottom of your drawer in your kitchen and you can get your potato peeler or this really sort of fancy one. But you can buy it, I bought mine from Portobello Market, £5. And all you do is just take it backwards and forwards and you shred whatever the vegetable is. And you can see that you're already getting, you know, a nice little effect as opposed to chopping. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you a job, if that's okay.
Okay, sure.
Now you're just going to take, so with the other end of this guy is just the potato peeler, well, the vegetable peeler. So if you can just take nice, long, thin strips, and then you're just going to rack them up into the bowl there. Sure. So, I think courgette. Sometimes with vegetables, we just sort of forget what to do with them. Yeah. You know, they're in the fridge. You know, we know how to boil a potato or maybe shred a carrot, but sometimes we just lose inspiration. Yeah. And so if you get your potato peeler out or one of these little machines, you can basically shred and grate everything, and then you get lots of different, I mean, already it starts looking a bit posh. Yeah. A bit special.
Your favourite word,
as opposed to just chopping things up. So
it's so easy to do the courgette, especially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really like she says.
I'm going to give this one a go. And I mean, you obviously can get your knives out and chop everything up, but a lot of what makes food and salads look good is the way that the textures of them and the way that they do get chopped and put together.
Sorry, I'm putting on
it's
both
all right.
hands.
They're clean.
Our bowl's too small, isn't it?
It's a bit.
How much do you want me to
do? But also those colours already, just the whole thing, or start already looking really, really lovely, don't they?
It does. I've got down to the season now, shall I carry on?
Perfect. Then you can give that a stop there. Okay. And I'll get going with the... So the great thing with a salad is you just want to basically open your fridge and look what's in it and put it all in the bowl. Yes. And what I would say to people who are trying to maybe lose some weight in January or, you know, get healthier is to always make sure you're eating vegetables every single day. Okay. Because all these vegetables, like red cabbage, it's really high in vitamin C, antioxidants. It's also got loads of glutamine in it, which is going to heal your gut, and I'm sure our guts have taken a bit of a rocky road all the way over Christmas. So all these foods are really good for reducing inflammation, detoxing the body, and just making you feel a little bit happier and brighter. Yes. Okay, so you can already see that some lovely colours, purple and green.
Looks lovely. I love red cabbage. What would you like now?
So you can, so we're just going to mix that up a little bit. Ooh, getting it everywhere. Missed. So that's our base. Now you can obviously put in more, we could put in more. Let me just show you with with this little tool, with the courgette, it's got teeth on it. So already you get that nice effect like the spiralization. And all those different colours.
And this doesn't take up much space in your cupboard.
It takes up no space, it costs £5, and they make great presents.
Yeah.
But there we go.
It's not very elegant.
It's not very elegant. It's not as elegant
as
a spiralizer, but nonetheless. So then we're going to add some red onion, a bit more colour. And in that bowl there next to you, Chrissy, these are the secret ingredients.
Okay, what have we got here then?
So we've got some chili.
Ding.
We've got some lemon.
Ding.
Correct. Lime.
Ding.
Turmeric.
Ding.
And ginger.
Ding.
Perfect. Well done. 10 out of 10. So we're going to put the bowl on the side.
You bring out the craziness in. I don't know. What would you like first?
So we're going to start with the chili. So you might be a fan of chili, you might not be. We're just going to use a little bit of chili for a bit of decoration on the top as well. And then we're going to make the dressing.
Okay.
So we'll leave them to the side. So depending what your taste buds can cope with. Are you a chili person?
Yeah, I do like it.
So turmeric. Everyone's gone turmeric crazy. Do you have a turmeric latte?
No, my hubby likes turmeric with milk. He has that sometimes after lunch.
So they look a bit similar, turmeric.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
But they're a bit sort of like old witch's fingers, a bit knobbly. And so I'm gonna end up with orange and purple hands. But I'm
See
just
how I
going
haven't offered to do this bit.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I did. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a grate, and then I'm actually just going to. Okay. Give it a little bit of a grate in. Now, turmeric is really fantastic for reducing inflammation in the body, and it can be raw, it can be juiced, it can be in a powdered form, whichever way you want. But it gives it a really good zingy flavour as well, and it's another fantastic colour. I mean, look at that.
It's like carrots.
Like carrots. So we're going to do the same with ginger. You a ginger fan?
Yep.
And ginger's great for digestion. So if you've got sort of a bloated gut one day because you've eaten too much, then grab the root of ginger, and you could either put it in tea and it will help reduce bloating, but in a salad as well. Again, it gives it a nice zing to the salad. So just a bit of both of them.
Okay.
Making a total mess over here.
But the end result is going to be absolutely amazing, isn't it?
So then we're going to make our dressing. We're going to get a lemon. Now, a good trick for lemon is just hold your hands out. My hands are purple hands.
Oh, bless.
So we're just going to squeeze the lemon through and just put it over the hand so you catch all the pips. There we go.
No pips.
No pips in that one. Oh, they're all in the other one.
Right.
It's a fake lemon.
It's a fake lemon. There's no pips in it.
We're going to do a bit of lime as well. Sometimes people forget you can put limes on the...
Yeah, I do like limes.
They normally just save them for gin and tonics. Yeah. There we go, a little bit of lime. Good. And then we're going to put a little bit of olive oil. Can you do the seasoning? Salt and pepper. A really good salt and pepper really makes a really good salad. So a good lot of good olive oil, nice fat. Perfect, that'll do. And there's your lemon, there's your pepper. Black pepper. Perfect. And then what we're going to do for a little bit of sweetness is add a spoon of honey and drizzle it over the salad like that. So you've suddenly got some sweetness, you've got the bitterness of the lemon and the lime.
It smells so good.
And all these flavours are just sort of amalgamating and mixing together. And the red cabbage will start to sort of dye its colour into everything else, and suddenly you've got a medley of colour, and it's a rainbow detox salad. And
rainbow detox salad.
Rainbow detox salad. So if you remember that the aim is trying to get all the colours of the rainbow in one bowl.
That's amazing.
And then you'll get all the vitamins, all the Look at my hands.
Would you like a tissue? Here you go.
They've gone pink. Dyed by red cabbage.
Oh my gosh.
And then we're going to sprinkle the chilies on top.
Lovely. Do we need the avocado, or was that just
And then, the last thing about this salad is so this would be a really great salad for a vegan, vegetarian.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're not and you really need your protein and your fat, then just add the chicken on top or the salmon or whatever you want. So I put in an avocado, and because we've gone avocado crazy. So just open it up like that.
You can't fault an avocado, can you?
You
Really?
can't.
It's just like, oh.
Just give it some
I'm so
slices down
excited
there.
about this salad.
I know.
And all we've got to eat it with is teaspoons, Hannah. That's not on, is it?
And then just put the little slices in like that, nice and easy. And you've got some really good fat there. Abracadabra.
Amazing.
Detox time.
Shall we try it, or shall we answer the questions first? What do you think?
Oh yeah, we could. Well, you could ask the questions, I could eat it.
Why don't we do it the other way around? I'll ask the questions, you answer, and I'll eat.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's get the first question.
Let's get the question out.
Amazing.
Let me tidy up a little bit.
Okay, so I'll read the question while Hannah's tidying up, because we really have made a mess. We haven't got much workspace here, that's the problem, Hannah.
I know.
Okay, so this viewer's asking, what's the best breakfast to have to beat a hangover? I always have a greasy fry-up, but I really don't think that's any better for my body than the alcohol.
Well, that's the true statement. So you've been drinking alcohol all night. You probably stopped at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and you wake up normally really early after the alcohol, because your sugar all depletes in the body and you wake up and you're dehydrated. So you really want to keep the food to a minimum, to be honest, for a good, I say, 10 hours. So really hydrate, vitamin C drinks, even a soup, a green juice, a smoothie, but something liquid, so that you give your body a chance to filter out the alcohol that's already in your body. What most people do, like this viewer, they drink all the alcohol, then they overeat with a greasy fry-up, and suddenly your body is going, I don't know what to do first, and you just feel worse. So you keep eating to try and feel better. So less is better.
So the English breakfast is definitely a myth then?
Definitely, yeah. It'll make you feel good because you know how tasty it tastes. But it's in the long run, no.
Okay, next question. For my New Year's resolution, I'm trying to eat healthier. Aside from eating less junk, what are some good tips for someone starting out?
So I would start with things like always making sure you've got a stocked fridge, always making sure there's, you know, a rainbow vegetables in there, lots of different colours. I would make sure, I would sort of really be honest with yourself and maybe write down your top 3 vices when it came to food. And then just ban them from the kitchen.
Oh wow! Okay.
You know, if you know you can't, if you know you can only, if you know you're going to eat the whole pack of biscuits, don't buy biscuits.
Yeah.
Don't try and test yourself; you'll fail. So, top 3 vices. And
I like
ban
Hannah.
them.
She just says it how it is, and that's it, right? Okay. Okay. And one last question, Hannah. I'm not into detoxing, but what are the main things that I should cut down on to get me back into eating well after a very indulgent festive period? I don't want to be too restrictive with my diet, though.
Okay, so I would cut down on, obviously, all the processed foods, so things that come in packets, biscuits, crisps, cakes, pastries, all those things. Increase with everything that you can see here on the table. So if it grows in the ground and you need to keep it in the fridge, then it's going to be really good for you. Get an array of colours in, drink more water, squeeze your lemons into your water, move every day, and get into bed before 11 o'clock, and you're probably going to be on the right path to reducing the bad stuff and increasing the good stuff.
Wonderful. Hannah, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
We are going to try this amazing salad, but don't go away also, because after the break we show you how we got on when we visited St Andrew's Church of England Primary School and doing the MHD challenge, and I also give you some tips on how to stick to your New Year's resolutions. But first, what's the most common New Year's resolution? Is it A, to learn a new skill, B, to drink less alcohol, or C, to exercise more? Find out after the break. Hannah, shall we try this?
Let's go.
Do you have a spoon, my lovely? Here you go.
It's the new
Cheers.
thing, eating with teaspoons.
Yes, because we've not been given forks for some. I don't know how, but anyway, it's been a mess since the beginning. All right.
I think you might just have to use a finger.
Yes.
There you go.
Let me put a bit of avocado on here.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh my God, this is just.
Ready?
Right in heaven. It's really nice.
Well done, Chrissy.
Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where today we've been talking all about resolutions. Now, before the break, I asked you, what is the most common New Year's resolution? Is it A, to learn a new skill, B, to drink less alcohol, or C, to exercise more? The answer, according to the Telegraph, C. 38% of the British population say they are going to exercise more, so let's hope they stick to it. Now, mental health is a conversation that we should be having with everyone, especially from a young age. And here we are at St Andrew's Church of England Primary School, showing them how to do the Mental Health Dance Challenge to fight depression and be more open about mental health. And for those of you who don't know what the Mental Health Challenge is, it's something that we put together at the end of last year. And basically, it's a dance that actually illustrates fighting against depression. And the idea is that you learn the dance, you take on the challenge, you learn the dance, and then you post that dance on social media and challenge other people to do it as well. Now, the children at St Andrews did an absolutely brilliant job, and let's take a look at them now. Are you excited about today? So, right, step, 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 left, step, 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 step back, point, and wave. Good. Now we're going to go forward, forward, stomp, 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 back, stomp, 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 step back, and point, and wave. Good. Ready? Let's go! And turn. And turn. 1, 2, 3, get out. To the side. Good. Middle, to the side. Good. Punch, punch, down. Punch, 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 punch. So I can keep it close to the show. And again. So everyone, now I'm here with Shirley Arnold, who's the head teacher here at St Andrew's Church of England Primary School. So Shirley, why did you find it particularly important for your school to get involved with this?
Well, it fits in really well with the work that we're already doing. We do something called protective behaviours, which teaches the children how to keep themselves safe, not only physically but mentally, and it fits in beautifully with our growth mindset ethos in school.
Why do you think it's so important for children to open up about what they're feeling and what they're going through?
I think now there's so much pressure on young children to act and behave in a particular way or wear particular clothes, and so the actual real sort of fundamental part of us that drives us, our feelings and our emotions, gets lost in all of that. So being able to talk about how we feel, even the smallest thing or the biggest thing, there's no problem that's too big or too small to talk to somebody. So this has really given all of us a medium, and you know what I've really loved? How not just the girls have got on board, but the boys have really enjoyed it too, and they've outdanced the girls, I think, this time round.
Go to your right. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Step back and point. Woo! Step forward. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Step back and point. And wave. Woo! Stamp. And crush. Stamp and crush. Stamp and crush. Together. Up, up, together. Up, up, together. Freestyle! Woo! So everyone, now I'm here with some of the lovely students at this school. Who do we have here? What's your name?
Olivia, Emerson, Sam, Danny.
Okay, so thanks for speaking to me today. So first of all, what did you have to say about what we did here today?
That it's important that you get the message across, because a lot of people are scared to say what they're scared of, but they shouldn't really be, and they should just be confident in asking for help.
That it's not
scary to talk to someone about how you feel, and that everybody should try and talk to someone when they need help.
The dance helps you express yourself and your feelings, and that you can tell someone about how you feel, except from being scared.
I think that everyone should have the right to feel happy, and like they should be able to tell everyone if they have any troubles.
So Shirley, just to ask you, what did you first think about the dance when it was introduced to you?
I thought it was a brilliant idea. The more that we can get children active and the more that we can get them engaged with thinking about their own mental well-being, I think the better.
Why do you think it is so important for children to open up about how they feel?
I think in this day and age there's so many pressures on children at a young age. We've got SATs testing, we've got all the electronic things that go on in their lives. And I think it's just really important to let them know that if they are having problems, there's someone they can turn to.
And how do you think it went this morning?
Oh, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Dancing just makes everybody joyful, and that's one of the things that we encourage a lot of in this school, is lots of dancing and singing, and they've just had a brilliant time, and that's the best way to get a good message across.
So Shirley, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for including us in your project.
Well everyone, this is the wonderful St Andrew's Church of England Primary School. They've successfully completed the MHD challenge. They have been absolutely amazing. I absolutely love them. Fair play to the teachers as well. They've done it. And back to you in the studio. Woo! So thanks very much to St Andrew's Church of England Primary School, and congratulations once again for completing the challenge, and they also received their MHD challenge certificate as well. And if you want to know how to take part, you can visit our website chrissybshow.tv. So now it is confession time for me. Now, as I said at the beginning, I will be revealing my biggest failure when it comes to resolution. So maybe you actually have a resolution or goal that you have been making every single year, and year after year you always seem to fail. Maybe you start off well and then it just seems to just go wrong completely, and then you end up feeling really bad about yourself. And part of you thinks, well, should I just take this resolution off my list and just forget about it because it's just making me feel bad? There are maybe certain goals that aren't really that important, and you just have it there for the sake of it. And if you find yourself keep not doing it and it's not that important to you, then just take it off your list. But if it's something that is actually going to help you, it's something good, it's something that will open doors for other things, then I think you should stick to it. Now, my biggest failure when it comes to resolutions is learning a language, and that has been Portuguese. And would you believe it, I've been putting this on my list probably for about 15 years. I know it's really shameful to say. And I sort of start off, I start learning, I start putting time aside, and then you know how it is, the busyness of life just comes and it's like, oh my God, I can't fit it in anymore. And that's been my story for years and years. And the reason I want to learn Portuguese is not because it's just a hobby, it's actually useful for some of the things that I'm doing. So I do have a very good reason to learn Portuguese. But what I had to actually do, and what I started to do at the end of last year, instead of trying to put time aside and the extra study time, getting apps, all these things I've tried. I've tried the apps, I've tried putting time aside, I've tried being accountable to people. There was once I actually sent an email to all of my Portuguese friends, and I said to them, from now on, I'm only going to speak Portuguese. I only want you to speak Portuguese to me and nothing else. Don't speak to me in English. How long did that last? Not long. So it was like I tried all of the normal things that we say about sticking to resolutions. None of that was working. But what I did started to do last year, I incorporated learning this language into what I already do. So for example, anytime that I'm cleaning, for example, anytime that I'm ironing, I will put on a video in Portuguese and watch that. And even though I don't understand everything, but I found that each time I watched something or I listened to something in Portuguese, I'm starting to pick up new words. And there was a time that I watched almost the whole video and I understood like maybe 90% of it. So that's the way that I have found to actually learn actually start sticking to this resolution, even though I started at the end of last year. Look, I had the whole year, had the whole of 2017 trying to learn. And it was only, and I started to feel bad about myself. I still haven't done it after all this time. Then for some reason, this thing just said, just watch videos. And then, then I started, it was, as I said, it was at the end of last year, but it started to help. And now I actually feel quite excited to, as soon as I'm going to put on a video, I'm like, yes, let's see how much I'm going to understand this time. So even though I'm not speaking much at the moment, but the fact is I'm trying to get the listening and trying to understand everything first. So that's working for me. So maybe, again, as I said, maybe you have a goal, you have this thing that you have been trying to do. And like I said, if it's something that's not really important, it's not going to benefit you, just let it go. Maybe it's not that important to you. You have to really want to do something for a reason. But if it's something that you just haven't managed to do for some reason and it's bugging you and you really want to get it done, try to find a way of actually incorporating it into your life in a different way. You might not be able to do it the way that I've suggested or the way I've done this with a language, but just sit down and think of different ways. How can I actually put this into practice? All the things that have stopped me from doing this before, what else can I do? Have a good think, because sometimes there's something right in front of you that maybe because you haven't taken the time to think about it, you've not noticed, but maybe there's something there that you can incorporate immediately that will help you to actually achieve that goal. Well, everyone, I hope that's helped, and we have reached the end of today's program. But if you have a story that you would like to share with us, please do get in touch with us, the usual channels. And also, if you would like to make some comments about this program or even ask some questions, do email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us @ChrissyBShow or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if you'd like to know about my mental health journey, what I went through and how I came out on the other side, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. And don't forget, never ever give up.